when you get onto the EIP Project Tracker, the first thing you see is our homepage, and we tried to make it very graphic. We have a scrolling of select projects that people can see, and we have a project map. You can go through here, and I'm going to go through tabs instead of waiting for pages to load, just to be a little faster. But what you can see is an overview of the program. So all of our reports are here that people can download and actually view online. And then we have all of our projects on another tab. This is a full project list. So these are all the projects that are associated with the Environmental Improvement Program. There's over 750 of them, but you can go through and you can sort them by whether they're complete, whether they're in implementation stage, or whether they're in a planning stage. And one of the things that's great about any of these lists that are in here is they're always downloadable into an Excel spreadsheet. So hate to go back to spreadsheets, but sometimes you just need to have them. But we can always download them if possible. That's one of the great things about this system is any of these grids we can download. We talked earlier about all of our performance measures. So we have tabs here where you can see a list of our performance measures. And each of these, if you click on it, has guidance. It has how to report, what we're measuring. It has a rolled up graphic of what's been reported for that performance measure. But this has been great for our consistency and accountability. Instead of having static guidance info sheets that we call them on how to report that you know, after a year or so get out of date. This is where we can come in and update these anytime. So we're getting really consistent reporting. You can also get an overview of the program. So this tells you about the focus areas that we have, and we have 6 different focus areas ranging from watersheds, habitat, and water quality to air quality and transportation. And then the individual programs within that, and then also the individual action priorities associated with implementing that program. So for stormwater management, we have 4 action priorities around roadways and dealing with stormwater from roadways. So you can see an outline, a graphic of the outline of the program right here. And Matt was talking about earlier is rolling up this information into what we can see as like a funding graphic. So whoops, I went too far. So you can see this is all the funds expended. We can see, you can sort it by year to see for an individual year how much money was spent by the different sectors of a program, of the program. You can go through and see what, you know, all the funding sources associated with, say, the state of California. And you can scroll down and see in that year how much that was spent, or you can look at it over a series of years. And then you can actually go into an individual funding source, which this next tab shows, and see more detail about that funding source, where expenditures were done by year in each program area, and then go through and see a list of the projects that implemented, that use those funding sources by year. So this has been really helpful for us in terms of questions that we get from congressional staff members asking, where did all that money go that we gave you? So this is being very, very accountable, and it's easy for us. It's all in one spot with just, you know, a couple clicks we can get that information. What's the next one? Hold on. Get to the next tab here. You can also see information about individual projects. Now this is a lot more detailed than what we have in our project fact sheets, but you can go through and see the stage that the project is in with this bar across the top. You can get a more detailed project description. You can see the total cost, the year it was started, implementation or construction. You can see this one has a more detailed map. Instead of just a point on the map, it actually has somebody's drawn on the project location. You can see all the organizations involved in that project, whether they're implementing or funding the project. And then also what was accomplished with the project in terms of our performance measures. Then we can get a more detailed view of the funding. So you can see funding for this project was expended from 2011 to 2014, and you can see a detail by either funding source or by year. And then, as Matt was talking about earlier, you can see all the project photos that are uploaded. So this project, somebody's done a great job showing before and after pictures and uploading them. And then you can view any of these pictures, but you can also go through and just see the rolled out fact sheet. And this is a rolled out fact sheet for that, that project. So you can see this is what a public member or congressional staff member can come in, pull this information and get like a really concise project fact sheet on what happened with that project. And you can see here, we've taken a select, 6 photos, 2 before, 2 during, and 2 after for this project to really convey what happened, tell the story of that project. And then another really cool feature of this that people like is this EIP project map. So this really gives people an overview so they can see where these projects happened, and they can see, you can sort it by stage, but you can also sort it by EIP program. So if you wanted to see, I want to see all the air quality and transportation projects, you can see it all right here. And what's really great about this that has been people like is you can click on an individual project here and get more detail on it and see a little pop-up. This one actually has a little pop-up with a picture on it. And then if you want more information on that project, you can just hit the project summary button and you'll go to that screen that I showed you before where you can see the details of that project. That's been something that people really like, and it graphically conveys what we're doing with the program and what we're accomplishing. So that's a quick overview of the EIP Tracker. One thing I wanted to talk about is that it's grown into this bigger platform where people can come and get information about Lake Tahoe. And we've got the EIP Project Tracker, we've got information on individual parcels in the basin and the development rights that people are transferring off of those parcels. We've got information on sustainability, our dashboard, where people can get information on the environment, the economy, and the community. Our threshold dashboard, which is where all the projects that are being implemented through the Environmental Improvement Program are rolling up into like, what's the status and trend of our environmental thresholds in the basin. And then we have a data center where all this information gets coalesced and used, and we can see it across all the different platforms. So that's a quick